Bring your own baon, bring your own hugot. The Hugot Hour with Father J-Boy and friends gathers every Monday at 6:30 to 8 in the evening. Only here on Radio-Katipunan 87.9 FM.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Welcome to The Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Follow at Radyo Katipunan in our social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter.
Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at diwang makabayan sa mga salita at pahina. Sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino, halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Ito ang Sari-Sari, tuwing Miyerkules, 11:00 ng umaga, dito sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Iwasan ang pagkakaroon at pagkalat ng sakit na COVID-19. Palagiang maghugas ng kamay. I-check ang temperatura para sa lagnat. Umiwas sa matataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang mukha kapag hindi pa nakakapaghugas ng mga kamay. Iwasan muna ang pagyakap, beso-beso o paghalik sa ngayon. Maging maingat, maging ligtas.
Basta't laging handa at sama-sama, kaya natin to. Hatid sa inyo ng PCOO, DOH, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Feeling blue? Ever thought of looking into the bright side of things? Let us help you out. Join our light, engaging, and inspiring conversations with our Chaplains on Air. Hosted by Father Junji Bargayo and Father Henry Ponce of the Society of Jesus. Chaplains on Air. The chaplains are now in. Here on Chaplains on Air. Thursdays at 6 p.m. only on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Jesuit Music Ministry, music that uplifts the soul. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer. Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow jescom.ph on Spotify and Jescom Music on YouTube.
Do you have concerns or problems about the school? Pag may dilemma, huwag mag-alala. Locate our boxes around campus and simply fill out the forms in the stations. Drop them in the box and boom, you're done. You can also fill out our forms online. This is a service brought to you by Your Sanggu. Pag may problema, huwag mag-alala.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Calling on all young male professionals. Do you wish to live an extraordinary life? Are you tired of the routine and mundane and long for a dynamic, adventurous, and even dangerous life? Do you wish to make your life count and hope to make an impact long after you're gone? Do you wish to live a life of service to society, to country, and to dear Mother Earth? Then you are the one we are looking for. Consider the Society of Jesus. Join the Church's gallant army and turn your world upside down. Call the Jesuits Vocations Promotions Team 426-6101, local 3406. Once again, 426-6101, local 3406.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Socio-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Meron? Ano nga ba ang meron? Paano nga bang mabuhay ng tapat sa meron? Don't you wish you can relive your philo classes? The terror teachers? The terrible oral exams? Or the even terrifying but liberating and life-changing aha moments? Lundagin mo, baby! Here's your chance! Lundagin mo, baby! Kasama ang mga pilosopong sina Jovi Miroy at Ron Capinding. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping upward, leaping forward. Lundagin mo, baby! Leaping to greater heights, to greater wisdom, to greater magis. Lundag na, Ateneo! Radyo Katipunan is now online. See our live feed on facebook.com/Radyo Katipunan. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter at Radyo Katipunan and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Radyo Katipunan FM for more exclusive content. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Patuloy pa rin ang laban natin sa COVID-19. And together, we can beat the solusyon.
B. Bawal walang mask.
I. Isanitize sa mga kamay. Iwas hawak sa mga bagay.
D. Umistansya ng 1 metro.
A. Alamin ang totoong impormasyon tungkol sa COVID-19.
Protektahan natin ang sarili at mga mahal sa buhay.
B-I-D-A. Be the solusyon sa COVID-19.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Baka naman pwede.
Baka naman pwede?
Baka naman pwede. Mga isyung napapanahon ating pag-usapan.
Baka naman pwede.
Gamit ang mga pananaw mula sa iba't ibang kalinangan.
Baka naman pwede.
Mula sa Institute of Philippine Culture, kami inyong samahan, tayo'y maghuntahan. Dito lang sa Baka Naman Pwede. Tuwing Huwebes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Feeling blue? Ever thought of looking into the bright side of things? Let us help you out. Join our light, engaging, and inspiring conversations with our Chaplains on Air. Hosted by Father Junji Bargayo and Father Henry Ponce of the Society of Jesus. Chaplains on Air. The chaplains are now in. Here on Chaplains on Air. Thursdays at 6 p.m. only on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle ng Manila, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Hinagpis ng nilikha. Magandang araw po sa inyo. Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagle. Sanay tayong makarinig ng hinagpis ng tao, hiyaw ng batang nagugutom, pagluha ng walang matakbuhan, hikbi ng nawalan ng trabaho, pagkatulala ng iniwan ng asawa, pagtangis ng namatayan. Saksi tayo sa iba-ibang hinagpis. Pati ang kalikasan at mundo ay humihiyaw, lumuluha, humihikbi, natutulala, tumatangis. Dahil sa pagpapabaya at pagmamalabis natin, pakinggan natin ang hinagpis ng kalikasan na tayo ang dahilan. Karugtong yan ng hinagpis ng taong nagdurusa. O Diyos, alagaan nawa namin ang iyong nilikha. Amen.
Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. The voice of the Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa loob, sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo. Todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Ipag the Blue Eagle, galing hiding at tigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, 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 katipunan. Radyo, katipunan. Radyo, katipunan.
The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour.
Good morning mga katipuneros. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to our show here at Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM, the Ateneo Campus Radio. This is the Jesuit Hour and I'm your host, Father Nono Alfonso, SJ. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Ngayon po ay Martes na, last Tuesday of the month of October. And of course, next week, bakasyon po dito sa Ateneo at sa Radyo Katipunan. Okay, so it's October 26, 2021. Kumusta po kayong lahat? We have a very special show ngayong umaga po dito sa Jesuit Hour and we are so privileged, we're so fortunate, we are so lucky because mga ano po to, mga matatalinong mga tao ang ating pong mga panauhin. And we are going to talk about something that is special to our country. Yes, the past, ilang years na ba? 4 years. Yes, mamaya po yan. But before we do that, let's open our show with our prayer in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. I ask you, good Jesus, that as you have graciously granted to me here on earth, sweetly to partake of the words of your wisdom and knowledge, so grant that I may someday come to you, the fountain of all wisdom, and always appear before your face, who lives and reigns, world without end. Amen. And glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, Son of ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so that's from Saint Bede the Venerable. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, mga katipuneros. And yes, ngayong umaga po, sasamahan tayo ng ating mga maigiting na mga guro sa Ateneo de Manila University. Meron pong bagong libro, sila pong inilabas. Ang title po ay triggered, yan, ang ganda, triggered creative responses to the extrajudicial killings in the Philippines. At ang maganda po dito, ito po ay kalipunan. Naks naman, ang ganda ng salitang yon, ng mga ng mga sinulat ng mga kabataan. So we will ask them about this project, and about the involvement of the youth in this project. Let me introduce our guests, therefore, for today. Una po, Assistant Professor, English Department ng Ateneo de Manila University and Managing Editor of Kritika Kultura. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Jocelyn Martin. Good morning po, Dr. Jocelyn.
Hello po. Hello po, good morning. Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Oy, what is that painting behind you, ma'am?
Yun nga po eh. Mukhang maganda po. From a friend. Tama-tama sabi ko may painting na mga bata. So dito na ako lalagay.
Yes. And of course, we also have for our guest this morning, ito kabatch ko po to, sikat na to nung batch pa lang namin, writer ng batch, Celeste or Cyan Abad-Hugo. Good morning. She is also the Assistant Professor, English Department, and also Managing Editor. Good morning, Cyan.
Sir. Good morning, everyone.
So, how are you now?
We're okay po.
Everybody, magkabatch lang tayo. Okay, and of course, we are also joined by Jamie Bautista, who is in charge of the project as well. Good morning, Jamie.
Morning. Hello, Father Nono.
Hello. Yes. Ang payat mo sa sa personal. I mean.
Thank you.
Okay, so kumusta po kayong lahat? So let's begin our discussion. This is a worthwhile project because we've heard so many things about the extrajudicial killings, of course, from the viewpoint of journalists, number one. So professional writers. But we have not really heard from young people how they look at this problem. So sino po nakapag-isip nitong project na to? Can anyone tell us?
Well, yeah, sige. Actually, it started in my class kasi it started with 2017 na, 4 years ago with my freshman class. Kasi it was at that time I was literally triggered by the death of Cyan de los Santos.
Yeah.
There were other deaths, of course, pero it's mostly because Cyan's was the most visible, no, diba? And more so because bata siya eh. He was 17 years old. So and I was so it started with this feeling of despair in a sense. What can I do as a civilian? Hindi naman ako a lawyer, hindi naman ako I don't know, policeman or whatever, So I was a simple literature teacher. Mm-hmm. So I was asking myself, what can I do? And my specialization is actually memory and trauma studies. So for me, it wasn't really a choice to be silent over it. Di ba nga may nagsabi, bad things happen if good people don't do anything. So, and what struck me the most was, Cyan was young and he was shouting, just before he died, may test pa ako bukas. Mamamatay ka na nga lang, ang isip mo pa yung test mo pa bukas. So it was really near, it was really close to being a student, Mm-hmm. So, and I had this freshman class, and at that time, wala pa yung change ng CHED, no? So my freshmen were still 16 years old at that time, and they just graduated last Sunday. Now they're seniors, wow. So yay! And so
congratulations.
At that time I asked my students. So I was curious what they would have thought about that. So I said, okay, it's optional. If you want, you can write a story about especially the kids. I was really about it's all these collateral damage nga daw, di ba? The kids. And and I know that I was thinking of Shakespeare, actually, what he said, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So long as this poem on the paper exists, then it can be this living memorial of this person, even if that person were dead. So yun, sabi ko, maybe they could prolong sort of the life of one of the kids through short stories. And I had 20 submissions, actually, from 2 classes. Wow. Yeah, 20 submissions. And among those, there were 6 very good ones who agreed to go in this project. Sabi ko, parang mahirap ata. Sayang naman kung dito lang, just among us. It could be great if it could be published. So this is where I sought the help of Cyan. Sabi niya nga, like, she was already famous when you were batchmates writing already. I knew she's a writer for young adult fiction. She's an expert. So that's where I sought her help and asked her opinion on this. So I can ask Cyan too.
So how did you respond, Cyan? Did you like the idea right away?
Nervous naman to, parang orals. Okay. Well, it just so happened that at the same time Joyce was doing this, I was also thinking of Cyan. And I was trying to compose a poem for Heights at that time. And I noticed that many of the deaths were of very young people. So, and I noticed puro K yung mga nababasa ko, si Cyan, si Kulot, tsaka si Carl Angelo. So, I was very disturbed at the time and I was feeling lost. Bakit ba na nangyari to? Ganon. And then Joyce approached me with these stories. At first, I thought she wanted me to check them. I don't want more work, no. But when I was told the topic and that these were short stories written by students who were not even creative writing majors, I was very interested because then I thought, these would be raw. Like coming from their own imagination, coming from their own, this is their response to what is happening around us, and without all the accessories or techniques that a creative writing major might have. So I was very interested, and so I read the short stories, and then Joyce told me to pick what from the pool.
Okay. Si Jamie naman, how is Jamie involved in all of this? May na kasi siya, may tagahanga na nagpapa-shout out. Sabi ni Ray Laguda, shout out to Jamie Bautista. Yes, Jamie. How did you get involved?
So I was brought in actually by Cyan. So I think part of the process here was that but Joyce, you want to explain now you approached I think si Carino Velasco before initially.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then well, the way I got in was that Cyan got in touch with me. Cyan and we'd worked together on a anthology a few months earlier. So she invited me to contribute this anthology called Friend Zones. So we'd worked on other anthologies also in the past. And she said that, for this project we have these student writers, and we were given the idea of pairing them with a mentor, a professional writer who can because they're not literary majors, they're not professional writers. So because they're going to be published, maybe we could have these what do you call this, professional writers sort of mentor them in the process. So Cyan emailed me and she said, oh, Jamie, would you be willing to mentor one of the student writers? Honestly, when I got her email at the time, this is in 2018, early 2018, I was about to say no because I said, oh, I'm so busy now, Cyan, and and my head's like, and it's so far, it's Ateneo, I live in Alabang. Oh my gosh, do I have to go all the way to Alabang, just to mentor someone? But strangely enough, that I think a few days before I was about to answer, I was still thinking about it. I got to watch a play, yung The Condiman Party ni Floyd Quintos and Dexter Santos. And in that play, it was all about how you could use art to change, to go against this culture of violence and to promote human dignity. And I was so inspired by that. And I said, when I got home and I saw again Cyan's email, I thought, oh, I think this is a sign. I think, I said, this is the chance where I can do this, to use art to be for something, So after that, I emailed Cyan, I'm in, So he said, never mind if it's far, I'll drive out and all that, So so that's how I ended up joining the team.
So let me understand this. So Dr. Joyce, you had 20 students, di ba, writing these short stories about the EJK. And each one had a mentor, like si Jamie, si Cyan. Is that how it happened?
No, actually, so it was a classroom project, and if you interviewed them, most of them were just doing it for the grade. Yun nga lang. Then, of course. But then, out of the 20, there were actually I gathered the 12 best ones, and then the 6. And then there were the six top ones, and I thought, this might constitute, a good corpus, for a book. And yun nga sinasabi, thank you, Jamie, for reminding me. Cyan and I went to see Karina Bolasco, who really helped us. Karina from the Ateneo de Manila University Press, who was the one who suggested mentors for each of these six finalists. So that's when Cyan activated her big web of writers. And actually, what is the nice thing is that all of us are volunteers. So all the writers volunteered for this. No one is getting anything, and all the proceeds are going to EJK Orphans Ministry of Bishop Ambo in the Diocese of Caloocan. So this was so it's really like, we've been talking about going down from the hill sa Ateneo, so this is really like from the students, actually, from their own creative minds. Tapos volunteer writers from many, not just from Ateneo, but from other campuses as well. and then collaborating with people who are really doing concretely, something directly for the orphans, actually, yung mga na-orphaned because of the EJK. So it's really going to be direct and concrete.
Okay.
Jamie is our publisher.
Yes,
from
yes.
Chamber Shell. Yeah.
So so this is of course literature, so short story. But of course, they dun sa mga nakita ko, napanood kong clips, they had to do a lot of research, di ba? Is that what happened? Part of the mentoring yan, So Cyan, would you care to comment on that? So nag-ano sila, nag-part ng writing process is mag-research.
Yes, Father. So they I think they researched and responded to news articles mostly.
Did they have to go to Did they have to go to Caloocan, for example? May mga ano ba? Hindi na pumunta. Kailangan magpaalam sa Ateneo, no?
Oo eh. Tsaka, I think it started out in Joyce's class as an extra project.
Okay.
So, yung mga gusto lang extra points. So it started that way, but they were reacting to news clippings, trying to reimagine scenes, ganon. But and when we invited the mentors, who would then respond to the writing of the students and with their own creative work, when that was the format na, Martin Villanueva of Arete heard about it. And then he said, let's make this a residency, Arete Sandbox residency, and give your students an empathy workshop. So it suddenly became not just a book project, but this entire, this entire experience around it. And that was one of our first activities, an empathy workshop conducted by Missy Mara Mara of Fine Arts.
Yes.
Yeah. And to put ourselves in the shoes of others. So I hope that helped them also in the revision, rewriting na and revision of their short stories.
How were the top 12, top 6 chosen ba? Dr. Joyce, paano nyo pinili? Kasi di ba, meron kayong long list and then may top 6. How were they chosen? Sila ba yung, yes?
Yeah, well, grade for the first, in the beginning, kasi we never thought it would go out of the classroom. So it was really, first of all, I said those who are, because at the start, I just thought I would like at least to have them in Heights, local publication lang. So I said, if you got a B+, you can stay. Or from B, only one got A, and then all the others were B+. And then if you want, so I made like a briefing for those who wanted to continue, because the real challenge was not just getting a good grade in class, but to go the whole mile. It's a marathon to be trained, to be yeah. So and then only 6 agreed
to go through the whole process.
Yeah, kasi actually I out of the 12, I showed them also to Cyan before, and we chose the stories together. And then basically the 6 who stayed were the ones who accepted, and it took us 4 years. The whole process. Pero like all of us really took advantage and learned from the empathy workshops. And then we also had meetings. Arete, by the way, if the is the art hub of the Ateneo, but we also had some dialogue with social actors, with people. And we actually wanted to go to visit Caloocan, but then the pandemic struck.
Yeah.
But we hope to meet, now that we have a good, close collaboration with Sister Mary Cano of EJK Orphans, we hope that when it calms down a bit with the pandemic, we could visit them with the students. Foremost.
We have a few clips here we would like to show to our audience. 3 of the top 6 siguro ito, no? So take it away, Justin, anytime.
When I was first given the assignment, I really wanted to base it out of something that was really happening in society. So I had to read up a lot about news. I had to get myself updated on what was happening. And it was really difficult to look for like parallel information, like what was actually true and what was not. So it was a lot of research, and really reading and trying to immerse myself in what was happening around me.
And so, anong profile nila itong mga estudyanteng ito?
Yeah, none of them are literature majors. Yan ang ano
Wow,
maganda.
grabe, galing.
Yeah, oo, kaya gusto ko ngang ano din eh. I mean, it's nice to tell my current freshmen also yung na wala sa kanila ang lit majors, and yet they're able to publish. Pero when they were interviewed and then we got to know them, siguro, I mean, I'm sure Jamie, as mentor, he really worked close contact with one of them. All of them had more or less this desire to write. Anyway, they were business majors, but of course, you wouldn't go 4 years if you're not really motivated, if it's just for the grade. Wala nang grade yan, because they were, they really wanted their voice to be heard. They really wanted to contribute on this special issue, of course. Of course, we asked their parents, because at that time they were minors, so we had to ask for waivers. But I think, they really wanted to contribute something in this dialogue. I think Jamie and Cyan could also say something about that.
Yeah, like for me, when in mentoring, so my student writer, her name's Kat Rodriguez. So and Kat and I, we've become friends over the last 4 years. I was telling her when we met up over Zoom the other week. So can you imagine when I first met you, you were incoming sophomore. You were a freshman back then, and now she's now taking up law. She's studying law already after I graduated. When I met her, actually, of all the mentors, I think I was the only one who was not a teacher at the time. So one of the reasons why I was glad that Arete gave us a sort of a space, a room where we could meet up, because I was the only one who had no faculty room, no teacher's room. So I'd really drive out to Ateneo, every so often, and okay, let's meet up. And so we would really use the facilities that Arete gave us. And over the course of the years, it's very interesting to see how her story evolved. Her story was like a flash fiction, really short, one of the shorter stories, where it was from the perspective of an assassin. So we wanted to see what's it like to be, on the other side. And that really got to me, because ako naman, my family, I'm related to Pinoy, because my mom is the first cousin of Pinoy, and her mom, my lola, is the sister of Cory. So we're very, we're a political family in a way, and it's very hard during times like this to I at the time, honestly, I tried to withdraw from politics when it became so personal, and I was trying to find a way. How can you still be involved in social issues without without all these people blocking you, or confirmation bias kasi kabilang side ka. And it was always interesting for me to figure out how to reach people who are from a different political leanings. So Kat's story really resonated with me. We were also asked by Cyan to create a response piece, so I made a story also in response. So what we did with Kat, I said, let's be peer mentors. Don't think of me as your teacher. Think of me as, we're both mentoring each other, because I also wanted to know, what do you guys think about this issue? What are the ways you see the country now? So for me, the nice thing about this project is that it was really a conversation between generations of writers.
Yeah.
And how can we respond to this? So we both taught each other a lot over the course of writing, crafting our stories. I asked her for ideas for my story also. She gave me feedback. So it was really and over the course of years now, we had time like a year, we had a year between editing sessions, and I'd always encourage her, why don't you research more? And she would tweak her story a little bit based on stuff she researched later on. So I think for us mentors, like I know like one of my co-mentors, Carlo Mar himself, who had a lot of experiences first, actual experiences with drug users and all that. And with his student writer, he shared those experiences. And I remember in the interviews, his writer said, that also changed the way my story was. So for me, the mentorship aspect of this was very important. It's not us writers or the students saying, no, this is the definitive, or it's not a journalistic thing. It's us figuring out how do we feel. We're trying to process it also through art. Diba?
Okay. It got me curious, yung sinabi mo na yung storyline was from the point of view of an assassin. Napaka-creative naman ng batang yun. Without giving away too much, kasi kailangan nilang bilhin yung libro to be able to enjoy this literature, Pero without giving too much, can you tell us the other ano bang tawag dyan? Topics or treatment or vantage points that the students took?
Cyan, baka you can help me with this one. At least for mine, like with Sa Amin ni Cats, so Cats was about, hers is called Self-Proclaimed Hero, where it's about, the assassin is actually a mother. So it's that she's parang, inano siya to you have to assassinate someone, ganyan, the police parang collaborate with her, but in exchange you can do something for your kids. So it's in a way we wanted to see what would push someone to do this, or why would someone support. So my response was, mine's a sci-fi naman. I said, of all the stories, I asked, what kind of story do you want me to do? So I gave her options. So Kat suggested, you do the sci-fi ones. Like, my hirap nun. So mine is more of, what if there was a technology that would allow us to put ourselves in the minds of other people? So here I had the victim of a father whose daughter was killed by someone. What if he had to put himself in the mind of that killer? What would it take for him to forgive or to understand? Cyan, baka you talk about some of the other stories that we have.
Yeah, I think that was part of the selection process also. We wanted to select stories that had different kinds of characters, right? So there was a police recruit in one story, a young policeman, still idealistic and wanting to do what is right. And then there's one who was in college, best friends with somebody, but they're both from political families.
Katulad ni Jamie.
Who are fighting. So, so may conflict siya with his best friend kasi their families are fighting.
There's also kay Sam, what's called Patintero. Where it's from the point of view of a child, and then the writer, Sam, wanted to sort of make an analogy between what's happening now and how it's almost a game, as a twisted kind of game, and seen from the point of view of someone very innocent.
Yes. So there's some of them with the child point of view witnessing the violence and how it affects them. And then there's one who was actually the victim, but who lives on in some way.
Yung tanong ko, good that you mentioned about violence. Di ba medyo that's a delicate subject matter, especially for adults, di ba? So how did you guide these students? Joyce, di ba it's violence. Kaya nga na-intriga nga ako nitong libro ninyo kasi young people, parang tinatago muna natin, di ba, sila sa violence. But of course, with EJK, it's all over, 30,000 cases na ba? So how do you do that? So it was so brave of Dr. Joyce to suggest this this project to this young people. Sabi ko, ano kayang reaksyon ng mga magulang nitong mga bata ito? Anyway,
Yun nga.
so paano yung violence? How did you maneuver around that issue of violence?
It's actually the emphasis actually in the beginning was mourning, actually, rather than violence. So it's not, first of all, like violence was not the front page, if we can say that, but talagang empathy. It was really it's just because there was Cyan, it really was because not an ideology or not something abstract, but because of Cyan and Danica and all the other kids na wala naman talagang kinalaman sa war na to, mga stray bullets lang or napagkamalan or so and it was the same age. They were the same age. So, and I'm sure, and it was really me. I mean, if I was telling myself, if I, an adult, were affected so much by it, from my gut, what I was really wondering what fellow peers would have felt. So I wanted really, it was a genuine desire from me to hear their voice on this, but also to express this mourning and through writing. It's like the writing part is like an epitaph, the putting on stage the dead in a certain sense and trying to honor them. Even if some bodies have not been found, but at least the writing would be there to serve as their tomb in a certain sense. And so they expressed it in that way. And I was really surprised, their motivation and their creativity. It was, the stories were very nuanced. While most were from the point of view of the kids. Some were from different points of view from assassin, but also trying to see baka napilitan lang yung mga policemen, baka may mga napilitan lang because of poverty, because of pressure. So it's not one-sided in that sense, but taking into consideration, and these are from these young people, taking into consideration all the possible aspects of a system of impunity, if we can say that.
What about from the point of view of a drug addict? Kasi di ba yun yung on the other side, yun yung claim nitong gobyerno na this is the EJK is part of the or the consequence of a drug war, di ba? They are trying to get rid of the drug menace from our country, etc., etc. So, did anyone write about that, a drug addict's point of view? Kung wala, ako magvo-volunteer.
I think there was a kuya who was a drug addict there's a suggestion that he really was either an addict or dealing in drugs in a short story. And then Jamie has a point of view from the right? Your
so mine, nagbubuhat ng sariling bangko. Pero in my story, because it's done from, again, it's sci-fi, so I wanted to, I felt that if you were, to try to lift it out of a political debate, me and Kat decided, let's make it sci-fi set in the future, para you can, kind of detach it, but get to the core of it. So the idea was that, what in the future? So there's, we made it, half of the story was this father, parang, I'm going to put into this drug user's brain my memories, what it was like to lose my daughter, para yun ang punishment niya. But in the middle of the story, something happens in the technology. Baliktad naman, all of a sudden, all the memories of the drug addict goes into the father's mind, and he's forced to live through that drug addict's life, and then he gets to see what he went through. And so for me, my story was, if you had the technology that allows you to put yourself in the place of a drug addict, would you want these people killed? So
correct.
with my story, when Kat and I, so both our stories were about really putting yourself outside of your own body, your own experience, your own views, political views, and I think all the stories I think we have are really about that. It's the thing I really admire about these young writers is that even though, like Joyce is saying, from the beginning they're all admitting, yeah, it's for the grade and all that, but honestly, like in 2019, we had another meeting also. That video you showed, or we shot that, so we had a meetup and discussion. That was shot. I remember that, Cyan, that was Feb 25 of 2019. That was a holiday, and
EDSA.
I thought, EDSA. So there's no school, and I thought, no one's gonna show up. Why are the students show up? There's no school. This is not for grade. All the students they all showed up, to do this work. Parang wala na, there's no more grade. They got another grade from Joyce 2 years earlier. There was nothing in it for them except to push this project through. And over the last 3 years, we've been so surprised how much, even though parang daming hurdles to get it out and all that, daming stop, go, their passion pa hindi nawawala. Every time we have a new, guys, we have a empathy workshop, we have a panel discussion, they will show up, and for me, that really inspired me na parang, wow, I think, this new generation, I think there's really hope there, and I'll be honest, and that's why I came back to teaching. When si Martin Villanueva asked me after, because we met up nga during the Arete, he goes, Jamie, do you want to teach? And I said, after those few months of working with Kat on her story, I felt, parang na-miss ko nga, and I felt, this is a chance nga na to use art nga to tell these stories and to change things, so this project, I think it may help me a lot. I think it helped the students a lot also. And I hope those who read it will help them also.
Okay. Jamie, let me just tell you that your uncles are watching, Sina Rapa and Jim Lopa. Okay. Okay. Let's show some clips of the students we have been talking about. Yes, James?
Yep.
For me, it was also the same. I had to do a lot of research. It took me actually really long to start on the story. But I've actually found a website that helped a lot. It was, I think, paalam.org. So it was just like a list of EJK victims, and there's like a short introduction of what happened. But the information in these people are really limited. So it was hard to go off on anything because it was really little information. But I found this story that it's really stuck to me. I feel like it's one of the more popular stories. It was about Danica May. She was 5 years old, and she was killed because her lolo was said to be a drug pusher. But the problem with that was he already did all the steps he should have. He already surrendered to the police, like just a few days before the incident happened. Yet they were still targeted, and just because he was targeted, Danica, who was just 5 years old, was killed. Like, how are you supposed to change? How are you supposed to prevent it when the steps that you were told to take were already taken? So that's why I wanted to base it out of.
Processes na others were very research intensive daw. Others parang they had a broad concept, like si Sam naman, I want to have this analogy of the game. When you and me, like when we were listening to them talk about their process, the writing process, the mentorship process, it's very interesting to see how different each student writer, the process they went through, and I think the way also their stories changed, but see, and over the years, then I mean, literally had like 2 years where the stories would change and develop, and for me as a writer, then I hope that for these young students, again, some of them were saying that we're in school of management, we're not the writers, but they have this desire to still write, so I hope we also help them on that journey. To use their art, even if it's not for their livelihood, but at least to help with this advocacy, which they clearly are very passionate about.
Baka naman after this, they decide to become professional writers na, di ba?
I hope so.
Di ba?
Full support ako naman.
Okay, I'm also curious, this question is for the three of you. I'm also curious, in the process of all of this and of this project, what can we say about our young people, especially with regard to social realities? Kasi we always say, di ba, there was a time, mga 5 years ago, sinasabi na yung mga kabataan walang pakialam, di ba? But what did this project reveal to you about our young people? Dr. Joyce?
Yeah, they're really, I mean, for me, it was really this surprise, you know, and to have 20 short stories is a measurable sign of their interest in the issue. So yes, they're very passionate about it, and the fact that most of them wanted to continue means that they really wanted their voices to be heard. And even until today, you know, I have a current freshman class. When I tell them this story, you know, to encourage them also na pwede palang mag-publish ang mga freshmen, ano? They're also very passionate about social issues. And before we forget, actually, we have illustrators, even our graphic designers. Most of them are volunteers, and some of them are young people as well who also want to be involved there because of the nature of the project itself.
Cyan, did they show any kumbaga deep or profound understanding of what's happening politically, di ba?
They probably understand it more than I do. I think I'd like to say that, because they were our batteries. We were sometimes getting low bat. We were getting sick. Us old people.
Correct.
And but the young were going and going and going to all these activities. And each time we met with them, that is when we felt that we really have to keep going on. So I think they have a deeper connection with the issue, and it's their world na eh. And this is gonna be their future, and I would like to place my future in their hands. I believe in what they're doing.
Wow. What about emotions? When they were going through this process, especially in the writing, were they sharing with you strong emotions like, diba, anger towards the violence, or hopelessness, or whatever? What emotions did they share with you? Jamie, would you like to share?
I think what really struck me is that, you know, I think the different writers all had different also reactions then. But I remember, I think it was one of the writers, Sam, during one of our discussions, when she said the reason why she also wanted to be part of it was she felt, you know, I think this was like in 2019, like a year in, and then she's like, you know, parang now people aren't talking about this issue now because it's not the hot, you know, button topic it used to be in the beginning. You know, they're not going about all these things, you know, and I remember her saying that I want to be part of to write this because I still feel very strongly about this, and I don't want people to forget how important this issue is, you know. And we had some of the students also, honestly, even I think Kat, even my student writer, their parents were not so excited about them being part of the project. We kind of had to, you know, assure them talaga, you know, they were kind of scared, you know, but I remember some of them were sharing with us that, no, we really told our parents we want to do this, you know. And since I came back to teaching at Ateneo also, I started back in 2020. Not just my students in my class, but even especially these 6 students we started out with. You know, it really shows us that I think the young people now, you know, it's wrong to think na wala silang pake, you know, they don't care. I think a lot of them do feel strongly about a lot of these things. They're a lot more caring, more empathetic than even we are. Even I am, I think. And they just need an outlet. You know, they need someone to give them an opportunity to do something. We want to do something, we don't know how, you know. And I remember a lot of the students, our writers, saying that, you know, I'm so glad this chance came for us to express something, to do something, you know. And I think for me, Joyce, Cyan, the mentors, we felt na this was our responsibility to give these young people, we'll give you a channel, we'll give you a way to do something to make a difference. As I think as our generation's job is that, it's not to just, guys, this is what you do and do, they know what they want to do, but we have to help them. Parang, di ba, student-centered learning. We have to facilitate and help give them the opportunities to, allow them to do what they feel they need to do. The passion's there. Ako nafe-feel ko every time I talk to them.
Gusto kong tanongin si Dr. Joyce, what about fear? Di ba kasi writing requires a lot of courage, di ba? Parang hindi madaling magsulat, di ba? But especially to write about this issue, diba, some of our journalists have already kumbaga felt the pressure, diba? Maria Ressa for one. But this is not a very safe topic to write about, right? So wala bang ganon? Kaya ba hindi ka ba nagtaka na 20 lang yung nagpalista ng una? Walang fear? Fear factor.
Well, nung una, walang fear kasi it's just within the classroom, no? But then, nung nangyayari na yung book, when the book was was really becoming serious, we had to ask the parents to sign waivers and actually we asked them several times, are you sure? Are you sure you want to? And actually we had one backing out in the process of this part, just to measure the fear factor. But what I really wanted to, what we as editors, what we wanted to frame this book is really empathy and mourning, and not not a direct. It's really to empathize. So, lahat naman tayo, mag-uundas na, no? Lahat naman tayo pwedeng, tama-tama, lahat naman tayo pwedeng makiramay. So, pakikiramay talaga siya sa mga, sa mga namatayan, sa mga walang boses. Kasi nakakalimutan na natin pagkatapos nitong lahat ng mga years na to, na as Jamie was saying, no, in the beginning it was hot topic, pero actually there are still victims, there are still killings na siguro we can use our position in a certain sense. Also our visibility, siguro we're more visible in a certain sense, to not forget. Actually, it's really just to not forget that there were people killed and that there are people mourning. It's really first of all mourning, rather than going directly against violence.
Okay. At the end of the project, of course, we are only promoting the book. It will be available soon, or is it available already?
So right now, you can pre-order it at our website. So it's you can go to chambershell.com/triggered. We're hoping to release this by mid to late November.
Okay.
But you can pre-order it now already. And of course, if you pre-order, the price you pay for the book will go already to the EJK orphans, to us. But you can order it already. Yeah.
So that's the cover. We are already showing the cover. Pero my question is, so as far as the students are concerned, parang tapos na sila, no? Of course, they can promote the book. And syempre take pride in being part of it. But was there a debriefing, as it were, sa mga estudyante na, tapos na tayo, di ba? How did you feel? Meron bang ganon? Meron bang ganong process? Although nag-graduate na sila, no? So they've forgotten this already. Ganon ba yun?
I think not. Actually, we're going to be meeting up with them, I think, later in November also. So it's not a debriefing because in our head, siguro, hindi pa siya tapos.
Okay.
We're still in contact with the students. In fact, like si Sam, one of the writers, was asking me, Jamie, are we going to get in touch with the EJK orphans, with Sister May? So we're going to set it up. So our goal actually with this is that this is not the end of a project, even though it seems a culmination. We're very curious to see what else we can do once this comes out, and again, seeing these students, yung passion nila para sa issue na to. I think, even if the book is out already, we're going to try to find ways. And the way this project grew, originally it was supposed to be a book lang. Joyce said it was a book, and all of a sudden we had an empathy workshop, we had a panel discussion, and we might have events with the Diocese of Caloocan for the EJK orphans. So we were so surprised by how much this project grew. So we're not saying that this is going to end. For us, this could grow bigger pa, because it's really about mentorship, and what we want to do with this project is like Joyce saying, it's not just about we're against EJK or against the government. No, this is about we want to change the culture. Our Filipinos, diba, we're supposed to be a culture that loves life, that loves other people, that's about empathy, diba?
Yeah.
And what scared us, the writers, the mentors, was that what's been happening the last 6 years, that we've been going the other direction, na parang, the way to solve our problems is violence, is force. We're saying, no, it's not that. It should be through art. It should be through creativity, diba? It should be empathy. So this is our, kumbaga, ito yung shot across the bow namin na, no, this is the way to do it. We'll find prosperity, success, and, fix the country through art, diba?
Okay. Si Dr. Joyce, you're a trauma specialist. So, wala naman na trauma after this project.
Sana wala.
Wala.
Sana wala. I hope not.
But I've asked so many questions already about the students. I'd like to ask the three of you. Kayo naman, kumusta kayo? Like Dr. Joyce, you started all of this racket, di ba? How do you feel right now? Are you proud of your students, or what is your takeaway from all of this?
First of all, I'm amazed at the response, really, from the students themselves. I'm super proud of each of them. I'm really, really, I know what publication is, and it's very hard to publish, let alone for freshmen, let alone for non-lit majors, siguro. And it's their energy. So I'm really very proud of them. It's a marathon, and they have gone until the end. Minsan mas mahirap yung marathon kaysa yung one time lang, tapos ka na, ganyan.
Yeah.
And I'm really thankful for. It's like it's a project, and it's like it just went its own way in the end. Cyan was the first one who became enthusiastic as well with me, and then Karina, and then there was the mentors were all in, and then I was really surprised by Arete coming in, approaching us. Actually, it was Arete was the one that approached us, so I didn't have to look for anything in that sense. And then parang people just started volunteering, and then this contact with Caloocan Diocese as well. So ang galing talaga. Yeah, and then now I actually have even colleagues abroad who are interested in it and who would like to write reviews about the book already.
Wow. Before I give the mic to Cyan, sabi ni Ray Laguda, EJK is real. Thank you for being the voice of the voiceless. EJK victims and relatives, the youth, those who live in fear. May you continue to use art as a force for good and truth. Si Rose Franco, sabi niya, bless you writers. Your voice is the pen. Continue your good and truthful works. Okay, so yes, Cyan, ikaw naman, your takeaway from this project. Hindi ka ba nagsisi na naging bahagi ka nito?
Hindi naman. And I'm also thankful to the mentors. I wanted to mention the mentors because they were also with us, Tin Bautista, Exi Abola, Glenn Diaz, Carlo Mardawana, and of course there's Jamie. And they were also with us, and they were enthusiastic, and then of course the illustrators whom we've never met kasi pandemic na. Okay, so there. I don't regret that I'm part of this project.
Of course, alam na natin yung naging impact nitong librong ito kay Jamie. he's back to teaching. Tama?
Oo nga.
So, but Jamie, so it was consolation for you, no? Source of consolation to be part of this project.
Yeah, not just consolation. It's really, I think, inspiration more than anything. Sabi nga, I think, you know, I'm so thankful to Joyce and Cyan for bringing me into this project. Na even, you know, it's just funny that we started working back on it again last year in the middle of the pandemic. So, you know, it was something that gave all of us, I think, a sense of purpose during these hard times also. And for me, it's really something na, you know, it gave me a sense of direction in life na nga, na feeling na we don't just have to be against things, you know, but we can be for something. And this showed me, what can we be for? We can be for, you know, a culture of art, a culture of human dignity, you know, and that's what Filipinos are, diba? So this is one thing we can do. We can show the new generation, these young writers, you know, this is the way to do it. Let's do it through art, diba?
Correct. Si Ma'am Esther Frago, she used to teach sa high school, sabi niya, great work. Si Cholo Malilin, sabi niya, batchmate din namin kasi si Cholo. Cyan, hindi na ito children's book. Parang warning to. Okay, so finally, can we promote the book again? How, Jamie, when can they, or how can they purchase the book, get hold of the book?
Yeah, so you can, again, you can visit our website at chambershell.com/triggered. So there's a page there where you can pre-order the book. Once you pre-order it, once the book is printed and available, we can mail it to you. Also after that, shortly after that, it'll be available in bookstores, mostly like Fully Booked, in other online book channels. Yeah, you can also contact us directly at I think it's triggered pre-order at chambershell.com if you want to email us directly, but you can go to the website also. So yeah, you know, I want to thank also our student writers, Emil, Sam, Red, Jan, Pat, and Kat. You know, so you guys, thanks so much for sticking with us with this project the last 4 years. You know, so this is really, and congrats for graduating. This is all for you guys. So
the title of the book, once again, Triggered: Creative Responses to the Extrajudicial Killings in the Philippines. Joyce, so bahagi na to ng curriculum mo. This will now be part of your teaching, your classes. Baka next time iba naman, ano, hindi na EJK, elections 2022.
Sana naman hindi lang sa class ko, sana yung iba din. Yeah, I hope all. Yeah, because it's really from the point of view of young people, so it might be interesting really for college and high school. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to all of you, and thanks for what you have done here. We are forming, sabi nga natin, men and women for others in our youth. So thank you so much. Opening them to these social realities. Maraming salamat, Jamie, Cyan, and Dr. Joyce. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Thanks, Father Nono.
Thank you. Thank you, Father.
Thanks, Father Nono.
Okay, so mga katipuneros, that's our show for today, for this morning. We pray for the students of Dr. Joyce, and we congratulate them and pray for the success of this book, soon to be available. Pwede nyo na pong i-order. Triggered: Creative Responses to the Extrajudicial Killings in the Philippines. Hanggang sa Webes po, this has been the Jesuit Hour and Father Nono Alfonso SJ. Have a happy lunch, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Radyo-Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo-Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo-Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.